I fear that the worms could soon overrun the village. Just the thought of those slimy beasts oozing into my house makes me want to be ill. Please, rid us of them.
This is the story of the infestation of worms, and the quest's original appearance slated for Diablo 1, which was cut from the final game. Once the player has entered level 5 of the cathedral, if you head back to town and approach Pepin, the healer, he pleads.
Good hero, a moment of your time, please. While attending one of the townsfolk who had taken quite ill, I noticed something odd about his home. There were strange sounds and a sickly sweet smell rising from the cellar. Thinking perhaps these fumes had something to do with his sickness, I investigated. In his cellar were monstrous worms shifting and squirming up from the underground. I beg of you, slay these creatures before they can make their way into the town. I left the door to his house open for you. It is the one opposite of mine.
It seems only a matter of time before the forces of hell made its way into Tristram. But worms? What a wretched thought. Worms burrowing under the town and just across from Pepin's house, no less. As we venture closer, we see indeed the door is open, the light is on, but no sign of slithering foes about. Before we head inside, I think it's best we talk to some of the townsfolk who may be better versed in extermination. So we head to the town scholar, Deckard Cain, who says,
Worms that rise up from the ground? Many of the ancient writings speak of poisonous insects and foul creatures of the skies and seas plaguing mankind. It is no surprise that the very earth would offer up a similar peril now that the denizens of the underworld are upon us.
This is a very real-world biblical take on the plague that has fell upon Tristram, although it doesn't give us much in terms of a solution. Luckily, however, Griswold meanders over during our conversation to give us his take on the events.
I've seen no such things in my shop, but I will keep a close watch for them. Perhaps if they come this way they won't take kindly to the fires of my forge.
I'm glad that Griswold is unfazed and vigilant at the thought of slithering worms underneath foot. Now let's hope his forge can stave them off and they are not fire resistant. With that, we head to an unlikely ally who would have trouble with his wooden legs' lack of equilibrium if besieged by worms. Wirt, the peg-legged boy, who says,
They have you hunting worms now? What's next? Leaf collecting? Picking up mushrooms? Look, friend, you have a whole church full of demons over there to worry about. I don't see how a few little worms could be so bad.
While I agree with Wirt's initial assessment that worms don't sound bad compared to the legions of the burning hells, nevertheless, these worms pose a direct threat to Tristram and its residents. Also noted is his wry reference to collecting mushrooms, which refers to a level 9 quest, Black Mushroom. Speaking of food, we should see what's cooking with Jillian the barmaid.
Wait, before you say anything, my grandmother had a dream with giant slithering creatures in it. She also saw Pepin running from a house in the town. Do you think this means anything?
I plumb forgot about Jillian's unseen grandmother in Diablo 1, seemingly with visions that are somewhat accurate. I wish we could consult her more directly for clues. With only a few people left to see, we head to Ogden about these worms and find out how his cellar, stocked full of food which has been vital to the town's survival, has been faring.
That sounds quite disgusting, and I'm afraid that I haven't heard anything about any worms. Perhaps Cain, the storyteller, could be of some help.
Ogden, quite abrupt as usual these days, has a cold lead as we've also spoken to Cain already. But what about the saucy drunkard known as Farnham to the side of his tavern?
Listen. I don't even like worms. Don't tell me about your worms. I don't want your worms. Nope. No thanks. No worms for me.
Wow. Yep. The feeling is mutual, Farnham. Leaving the town drunk to retch in our wake as we head northeast out of town to a shack owned by Adria the Witch, hopefully for some worm extermination guidance.
Seek out the domicile to which Pepin the Healer has directed you. It is there that your missions will become clear and your methods evident.
It seems Adria trusts us to figure it out, as our task is pretty straightforward. Head for the infested home, and the solution, supposedly, will become clear. So we do just that. Approaching the eerily lit residence once more, we cautiously step inside. What foul work is this? It's quickly evident the worms have been busy burrowing far and wide under the town itself. With thick tunnels, at least 3 to 5 men wide, this dungeon mimics the caves below the cathedral. It's just past the entrance we spy an errant worm patrolling. We wait until it's closer to assess what the threat is, and also before it can alert its brethren. This creature seems more of a snake in appearance and mirrors the azure drake, if anything, although the lair itself is somewhat fashioned like Juriel's lair, later seen in Diablo 2 aesthetically, and may have been an inspiration, as many of the cut quests in Diablo 1 turn out to be inspiration for Diablo 2 quests. That remains to be seen. Hacking our way through a score of these worms, spelled more aptly in the sense of a mythical dragon with a Y instead of the house variety O, we are set upon many that await in their hidden facades and false passages as they attempt to ambush us repeatedly, spitting acid and surrounding us in hopes we perish prematurely in their den of evil beneath the earth. Slogging our way deeper into the maze with many dead ends, hidden ambushes, and worms aplenty, we finally spy what seems to be their ringleader, War Maggot the Mad. Girt by a gaggle of groupies, he rushes us in the midst of his kin. Although, once we kill him and the remainder of the worms, Aiden remarks, the town is safe from this foul spawn. It was somewhat muffled due to the commotion the worms were making.
The town is safe from this foul spawn.
Now, with a new yellow sword and cloak, we head back to Deckard Cain to identify the loot and grade its value, as it seems our task is finally being completed. The cloak itself turns out to be a gold item, Batskin's Cape. A cool name for a cloak, although its attributes are -6 the strength, increased armor 6, fire hit damage 3 to 6, plus 29% faster hit recovery and 9% faster walk speed. The stats are definitely not a boon for a warrior and a bit all over the shop, though admittedly I wouldn't mind the faster walk speed, something I pine for after playing Diablo's successors. The yellow sword, named Rift Scythe, boasts plus 28 cold resist and light radius increase 17%. Nothing to write home about, unfortunately, as the Butcher's Cleaver at level 2 would outpace this tiny stabber. With that, we head back to Pepin for an update on the quest, who thanks us and says,
Once again, you have saved this humble town from the encroaching evil. We are, as always, forever in your debt.
Kind words from Pepin, but concerning is this quest? Why haven't the denizens of hell poured forth into Tristram yet? The worms could have easily felled the townsfolk, and it's left us with a myriad of questions. This game has no guards for the cathedral doors, and it's becoming more apparent that something more evil is waiting for us, and the minions of the burning hells seem to be content to guard their dark master and wait for a more opportune time to strike. In any case, what did you think of the quest? Did you want to see more happening in the actual physical town of Tristram, or are you happier with it unblemished in the original? Let me know in the comments below, and hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. I upload most weekdays and have social media linked that updates you when new videos go live, and is a great tool to further the conversation as I respond to all comments. Thanks for watching, and until next time, Traveler.